Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Monday's maths lesson. Today we're going to solve two-step equations. Okay, but before we do that, we'll have a go at today's 4 flashback questions. Have a go at these and pause the video now, please. Okay, so question 1. Solve the equation 3x equals 24. Well, we know that 3x means 3 times x, so we need to get x on its own. So we're going to divide 3x by 3 and we're going to divide 24 by 3. So that we then know that 24 divided by 3 equals 8. So x equals 8. And number 2, if y equals 9, what is the value of 19 minus y? So we're going to substitute a y for a 9. We'll do 19 minus 9, which is 10. Okay, number 3. Convert 1600ths to a decimal. Well, we should know that 1600ths is the same as 1/10 and 600ths. We can also write that as 1600ths as a decimal will be 0.16. And finally, question 4. Round 736,128 to the nearest 10,000. Okay, well, when anyone rounds to the nearest 10,000, we look at the 10,000 column and then we look at the partner to the right to tell us whether we're going to round up or round down. Now, if that partner to the right is 5 or greater, then we're going to round up. And in this case, it's at 6, so we're going to round up. So it's going to be 740,000. Okay, well done if you got those right. Okay, so on to today's learning. So today, we're going to be solving two-step equations. This is where we're going to have more than one algebraic symbol in our equations that we're going to have to solve. Okay, and there'll be 2 steps that we need to carry out before we can find the answer. So we will think of each equation as a balance and solve each of them by doing the same thing to each side of the equation, just like we did on Friday. I'm not going to show you balance scales today, so I'd like you to really think back to those balance scales that we looked at on Friday and how if we did something to one side of the balance scale, we have to do the same to the other. We're going to be doing exactly the same thing today, even though we have one more step to complete. So we will look at concrete and pictorial methods. That means there's pictures and actual things that you can visualize alongside the abstract notation. That means how it's written, like at the top of the page here. That's the abstract notation. We'll look at both of them so that you can use the images and the actual things to help you understand those abstract formulas. So only try out writing the algebra like that, like is up here, if you really understand what you're doing. Okay, so just stick to bar models and pictures if you need to help you work it out in the meantime. Okay. Right, okay, so here is a step of an equation represented with concrete resources. So here you can see we've got cubes and we've got counters. Okay, so here we can see that 2 cubes, or 2c in this case, the cubes have been represented by an x, so we're going to call that x. 2x plus 1 equals 5. Now remember, just as we did on Friday, we want to get x on its own. Okay, we want to do whatever we can to get x on its own. And remember, today we're doing 2-step equations. So there'll be 2 steps involved. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to try and get x on its own. So we're going to take 1 away from this side of the equation, and we're going to take 1 away from the other side of the equation, so that we're just left with 2x equals 4. Once we've got our 2x equals 4, we then still need to get x on its own. So we can do the inverse of 2 times x, which is 2x divided by 2. We can do the same to the other side, which leaves us with x equals 2. And that's shown here in this picture. I'm just going to go through this first one with you because I've scribbled some notes down underneath how I would do it. Then I'd like you to have a go at the second 2. So let's have a look at this one. 4y plus 2 equals 6. Okay. I've written it out again there, and underneath I've got my 4y. I'm calling each cube y. 4y plus 2, the 2 counters, equals 6. Okay. I want to get these counters on their own because the aim of the game is I want to find the value. I want to find the value of y, so I want to find the value of one of these. So the first step is to get these on their own. So I'm going to get rid of this 2. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 from this side. But if I take 2 from this side, I need to take 2 from that side to keep my equation balanced. So I can see that in the formula how we would write that, I would take 2 from each side. Okay, and that would then leave me with, if I take that 2 away, that leaves me with nothing. They cancel each other out. And over here, 6 minus 2 equals 4. So that's going to leave me then with 4y equals 4. We can see it, 4y, these each are y, equals 4. 4y equals 4. Okay, that's the first step. I still need to find the value of y. So how am I going to get y on its own? Okay, well, there's 4y, which is 4 times y. So if I divide both sides by 4, these two y's are going to cancel each other out. These two are going to cancel each other out and just leave y. Then over here, I just have to calculate 4 divided by 4. Okay, 4 divided by 4 is obviously 1. So in this first example, y equals 1. Okay, using that method on your screen to help you, and drawing pictures if you need to, have a go at the second and the third one. Pause the video now, please. Okay, 9 equals 2x plus 5. Right, so I want to get, first step, I want to get 2x on its own. I want to get rid of this 5. If I'm going to get rid of 5 from this side, I need to take 5 from that side. So here we have 9 equals 2x plus 5. I want to get rid of this 5 here. I'm going to cross those 5 out. I'm going to cross them out here, I'll get rid of them completely, but I need to cross them out from this side to keep my equation balanced. So now I can see that I've taken away the 5 from both sides. So now I can see that I've got 4 equals 2x. I apologise about my animations haven't come up in the right order. So here we had 4 equals 2x now, because we've got rid of that 5. Remember, I need to get x on its own. I need to find the value of x. This side was 2x, so 4 equals 2x. I need to get x on its own. How am I going to get that x on its own? Well, I need to divide it by 2 to get rid of this times 2. So if I divide this side by 2, I need to divide the other side by 2. Dividing this side by 2 gets rid of the 2 completely and just leaves x. Dividing 4 by 2 is going to leave me with 2. So here the value of x was 2. Okay, and in this last one, I'm going to do this over here. 1 plus 5a equals 16. I'm going to show that with counters here. Okay, 1 plus 5a. This time the cube is representing a. I've got 5a equals 16. Okay, I want to get, first step, I want to get the a bit on its own. So I'm going to get rid of this counter. I'm going to subtract 1 from each side. Okay, that's going to cancel the ones out completely on this side, and I'm just going to take 1 away that side, and that's going to leave me with 5a equals 15. Ignore that bottom bit for the minute, sorry. So if 5a equals 15, I now need to get a on its own. It was 5a, which was 5 times a. I need to get rid of that times 5, sorry, so I'm going to divide by 5. If I divide this side by 5, I need to divide the other side by 5. These two 5's cancel each other out, which just leaves a, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3. So a equals 3. Okay, I apologise if I went through that a little bit fast, and I apologise about my animations. You might want to rewind that and go through that again. Okay, let's move on anyway. So here is a step. Sorry, I've got something in the way. Okay, here is a step in an equation represented by a bar model. Write the algebraic steps that shows the solution of the equation. Use the bar model, and then use the bar model to show these equations. Okay, so here we've got 2x plus 5 equals 12. Okay, now what's happened here is we've actually got rid of, they've got rid of the 5. So we've taken 5 away from both parts of the equation. This is one side of the equation, this is the other side of the equation. We've taken the 5 away from both sides, and that's left us with 7, as you can see here. So then 2x equals 7. Okay, well I still need to get x on its own. So that was the first step. Now we're going to do the second step. 2x equals 7, that was 2 times x. I need to find out what 1x is, so I'm going to divide it by 2. Not just one side, but both sides, because we need to keep our equation balanced. I can then see If I divide both sides by 2, that x is going to equal 3.5. Okay, have a little go at the second two and pause the video. Okay, 3b plus 4 equals 19. We're going to try and get 3b on its own, so we're going to subtract 4 from each side, which is going to leave us with 3b equals 15. We then need to get b on its own, so we're going to divide both sides by 3, which then cancels out the 3 next to the b and just leaves us with 15 divided by 3, which is 5. The b equals 5. Okay, this example, 20 equals 4b plus 2. I want to get 4b on its own, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And that's going to leave me with 18, because 20 take 2 is 18. 18 now equals 4b. I want to get the b on its own, so I can do the inverse of 4 times. I'm going to do divide by 4, but I'm going to do the same to both sides. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, which is going to leave b on its own here, and then 18 divided by 4, which is 4.5. b equals 4.5. Okay, well done if you got those right. Okay, bit of geometry. The length of a rectangle is 2x plus 3. The width of the same rectangle is x minus 2. The perimeter is 17 centimetres. Find the area of the rectangle. Okay, that's the perimeter. We need to find the area. Probably need to maybe draw a picture of a rectangle to help you here, and it does need some thinking about. I will go through it in a moment, but pause the video now and have a go yourself. Okay, right, well, how I work this out is that I drew myself a rectangle and I wrote down that the length was 2x plus 3 and the width was x minus 2. Now I know that perimeter means the distance all the way around the outside. So if one side of my rectangle is that, then the other side is going to be the same. So that's the equation I've got going all the way around, and all of those added together are going to make the perimeter of 17. So I'm going to try and write that as a equation. Okay, so what I did is I put these two together. So 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3 is the same as 4x plus 6. I'll put that over here. I've then got here, I've got my x minus 2 and my x minus 2. Well, that's the same as x minus 4, and I'm going to put that over there. They equal 17. Now I'm going to remember this. I want to get my x's all together so I can eventually find out what x is. So I'm going to see if I can get my x's together somehow. Well, look, if I've got 4x plus 2x, then I've got 6x all together. I've got 6x, and if I've got plus 6 and I've got minus 4, I've got 6x plus 6 minus 4 equals 17. Well, the plus 6 and minus 4 is the same as adding 2. So then I've got 6x plus 2. I want to get my 6x on its own. So I'm going to take the 2 from each side of my equation to keep it balanced. And that's going to leave me with 6x equals 15. I then want to get x on its own. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And that's going to leave me with x equals 2.5. Now I know the value of x, I can work out what the length is in centimetres and what the width is in centimetres. Then I can find the area, because I know that area equals length times width. So I know that the length is 8, and I know that the width is 0.5 now, because I've inputted those into the I'm pointing instead of using my mouse. So 2x, 2 times 2.5 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. So we're inputting substituting the numbers for the symbols to work it out. And then I know area equals length times width. So area, the length is 8, the width is 0.5. 8 times 0.5, or 8 times a half, or a half of 8 equals 4. So 4 centimetres squared was the area of the rectangle. Really well done if you got that right. Okay, right. Alex has some algebra expression cards. Y plus 4, 2y, 3y minus 9. The mean of the cards is 19. Work out the value of each card. Okay, so what that means, the mean is like the average of each card. So when you find the average, or when you find the mean average, you add all the three values together to get a total, and then you divide it by 3 to get a mean. So that means if we times the mean by 3, we will get the number that they started with. So we will get the number that all of these three things together add up to. So we know that if we say that was 19, that one's 19. So 3 lots of 19 equals 57. So now we can write all of those things out as an equation, and we know that they equal 57. So we can put all of our y's together, look. We've got 3y, 2y and y, so that's 6y. 6y plus 4 minus 1 is the same as 6y plus 3. So we know that 6y plus 3 equals 57. We can then solve this equation. We can take 3 from both sides, which then gets rid of this 3 completely and just leaves us with 54. So 6y equals 54. We can then use our division facts. We can divide both sides by 6, and we know that 6 times 9 is 54, so y equals 9. Now we know what y equals, we can work them all out. 9 plus 4, well, y plus 4 is 13. 2y, or 2 9s, are 18. And 3y is 27, minus 1 is 26. Okay, well done. I don't think I asked you to pause the video then, I do apologise. Hopefully you did. Okay, next question. Right, and I've just realised I've left the answers up there. Okay. Okay, sorry, I've left the answers up, but I haven't got a heart to record again. So what I'll do is I'll just go through this and explain this one, or you could put a bit of paper over the side of the screen and do it instead. Up to you. So pause it if you want to do that, or otherwise I'll explain it to you. Okay, so here is the quadrilateral A, B, C, D. The perimeter of the quadrilateral, that's the distance all the way around the outside, is 80 centimetres. We have a missing amount here, so we need to find this length here. What we do know is AB is the same as BC. So A and B is the same as BC. So we know that 4y plus 1 equals 21. Now we can find out the value of y because we know that fact. We're going to take 1 from each side to leave us with 4y equals 20. We can then divide both sides by 4 to give us the value of y. So y equals 5. Now we know that y equals 5. We know that this side is 21. We know that this side is 21. We can now work this one out. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 1 is 26. So we know that this length here, A to D, is 26. We now know all three of these sides, and we know the total perimeter. So if we add all these three up, we get a total of 68. If we then subtract that from the total perimeter of 80, then we're going to get a missing value of 12 centimetres. I do apologise for leaving the answers up on that page. Naughty Mrs. Smith. Okay, right. So well done, everyone. Have a go. Hopefully you'll be able to get onto the second page, but really don't worry if you can't, because it is tricky and I have probably talked really fast. Okay, thanks, Year 6. Have a good day.